And now, a startling ABC News investigation. A whistleblower has come forward to tell consumers.
What if I told you the food you thought you knew at McDonald's isn't what it seems? Behind those golden arches lie secrets that even employees warn you about. Hidden truths about the meats millions eat every single day. From chemical tricks to bizarre cost-cutting measures, the reality of your favorite menu items will make you question every bite. And here's the scary part. The most questionable meat on the menu isn't even the burgers. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video you'll never look at McDonald's the same way again. Let's start with one of McDonald's most legendary and mysterious items, the McRib. Why does it keep disappearing and coming back like some kind of fast food boomerang? You might think it's a marketing trick to create demand, but the truth is far stranger. It only returns when pork prices drop low enough. That's right, the McRib isn't about popularity, it's about economics. And what are you really eating? Not ribs at all. It's ground pork shoulder and trimmings pressed together into the shape of ribs. Imagine ordering a car and getting a cardboard cutout with wheels. That's what the McRib is to real ribs. The illusion is held together with something known as meat glue. Yes, it's exactly as unappetizing as it sounds. For years, the McRib even contained a chemical called azotocarbonamide, the same compound used in yoga mats and shoe soles. McDonald's eventually removed it, but if your sandwich once shared ingredients with gym equipment, how confident can you be about what's still lurking inside? Those picture-perfect grill marks? They aren't from a flame, they're painted on with caramel coloring, and the tangy sauce you think gives it flavor? It's loaded with high-fructose corn syrup and preservatives designed to mask the taste of processed pork. Here's the kicker. The McRib contains nearly 70% more sodium than claimed, and it can stay unnaturally fresh for hours. Employees have joked that McRibs sit in warming trays so long they should be paying rent. And if you think that's bad, just wait until you find out what's hiding inside McNuggets. The McNugget. The childhood favorite, the party snack, the comfort food for millions. But here's what most people don't know. A McNugget is only about 50 to 60% real chicken. The rest is a bizarre mix of fat, skin, connective tissue, and sometimes even bone fragments. It's basically the parts of the chicken no one really wants, ground down and shaped into something bite-sized. And that's just the beginning. The ingredient list reads like a science lab experiment. Modified cornstarch, dextrose, citric acid, natural and artificial flavorings, plus TBHQ, a preservative derived from petroleum. Yes, you're dipping chicken and oil products into barbecue sauce. But maybe you're thinking, okay, it's processed, but at least it's still chicken, right? Well, remember the viral pink slime scandal. The photos looked like strawberry ice cream, but were actually a gooey, chemical-laden paste supposedly used to make nuggets. McDonald's publicly denied it, but former employees whisper a different story. They say that inside the vats, you'll find parts of the bird most people would never dream of eating. Blood vessels, cartilage, fat, and skin, all ground down and mixed into the slurry that becomes a nugget. And here's a stomach turner. Nuggets are often refried multiple times. When they sit too long in the warming tray, employees are told to toss them back into the fryer to crisp them up again. Some nuggets get fried 3 or even 4 times before they're sold. By then, they've soaked up so much oil they might outlive your car engine. Even the breading is far from innocent. It contains over a dozen ingredients, including hydrogenated oils and chemical stabilizers that make them last unnaturally long. One food safety analyst found that McNuggets had a shelf life so extended they could technically still be edible months after being frozen. Think about that. Food that outlasts your student loans. And here's the final kicker. Those neat little nugget shapes. The boot, the ball, the bell, and the bone. They're not just random. McDonald's designed them to cook uniformly and stack easily in packaging, not for your enjoyment. Your childhood snack wasn't made for flavor, it was engineered for efficiency. Now let's dive into the deep fryer. Literally, the Filet-O-Fish might be one of McDonald's strangest menu items, and former employees will tell you it's also one of the riskiest. Here's the first problem. Low demand. Outside of Lent season or the occasional Friday rush, almost nobody orders the Filet-O-Fish. And when demand is low, freshness suffers. Employees admit they'll often make a small batch and let them sit in warming trays for far longer than they should. Officially, the fish should be discarded after 30 minutes. But in practice, workers say some patties sit for 4 hours or more. By then, your fresh fish sandwich is old enough to remember breakfast. And the oil? Technically, fish should be fried in a dedicated fryer to keep the flavor clean. But when things get busy, that rule goes out the window. Nuggets, fries, apple pies, even chicken patties all end up sharing the same oil, meaning your fish might taste faintly of fries or worse, the last item dunked before it. And let's talk about the cheese. Ever notice you only get half a slice on your Filet-O-Fish? McDonald's claims it's for optimal taste balance, but former managers admit the real reason is cost-cutting. 1/2 slice per sandwich saves the company millions every year. The cheese isn't part-time, it's a full-time scam. But the cheese itself causes another problem. When the patty sits too long, the half slice melts, then re-solidifies into a rubbery sheet. To cover this up, workers are trained to slather on extra tartar sauce. The standard recipe calls for 1 tablespoon. Stale sandwiches might get 2 or 3. By the time you're biting in, you're eating mayonnaise with a side of mystery fish. And here's a dirty secret from McDonald's training manuals. The Filet-O-Fish is rated low priority for oil changes. In other words, fresh oil goes to the fries and nuggets, while the fish gets whatever's left. Employees joke that if the fryer oil could talk, it would scream for retirement. But here's the biggest twist. The Filet-O-Fish was originally created in the 1960s to appeal to Catholic customers who avoided meat on Fridays. It became a cult item in some markets, but today it's one of the least ordered sandwiches on the menu, which raises the question: if it's not popular, not fresh, and not even truly fishy, why is it still there? The answer is simple: it's cheap to produce, and nostalgia keeps it alive. If the Filet-O-Fish freaks you out, don't click away yet, because what McDonald's calls healthy grilled chicken might be the most misleading item of all. For years, McDonald's has marketed their grilled chicken as the better choice for people trying to eat healthy. But the truth? It's one of the most misleading items on the entire menu. Let's start with what it's made of. A grilled chicken patty isn't just chicken breast. In fact, less than 70% of it is actual chicken meat. The rest is a cocktail of additives: modified cornstarch, soy protein, salt, wheat starch, and so-called natural flavorings. Basically, it's chicken bulked up with fillers to stretch every dollar. And those grill marks you see, they don't come from flames. They're printed on using caramel coloring and dyes to make the chicken look like it just came off the grill. It's chicken in costume, wearing makeup for your Instagram photo.
Now let's talk sodium.
A single McDonald's grilled chicken sandwich contains almost 3 times more sodium than a chicken breast you'd cook at home. In fact, one sandwich can take up nearly 40% of your daily salt intake. That's before you even add fries. The high sodium isn't accidental, it's part of the preservation process that keeps patties edible for long periods. And here's where it gets concerning. The chicken is treated with sodium phosphates and chemical preservatives that allow it to survive multiple reheats without drying out. In other words, McDonald's grilled chicken is designed not for freshness, but for endurance. Lab studies have shown these patties can hold their moist texture for up to 6 months if stored properly. That's not food, it's a science experiment. Employees back this up. In anonymous surveys, more than 75% of McDonald's workers admitted they would never eat the grilled chicken themselves. When asked why, they described it as having a strange chemical smell, a rubbery texture, and a taste that felt artificial. And that's because of how it's actually cooked. Here's the process. The chicken is usually pre-cooked and frozen, then stored until needed. When you order it, the patty is reheated on a grill press for a few minutes, just long enough to warm it through and make those fake grill marks pop. That's why the texture feels springy, almost like rubber. It's not fresh meat, it's processed poultry reheated like leftovers. And it doesn't stop there. Former managers revealed that some locations even pre-cook and refrigerate grilled chicken in bulk, then reheat it throughout the day as orders come in, meaning the fresh chicken in your sandwich could have been cooked hours before you walked in the door. Here's the final kicker. In 2020, McDonald's even pulled grilled chicken from their menu in some markets, citing streamlining operations. But many insiders believe the real reason was declining quality control and negative feedback from customers who noticed the odd taste and texture. When a product gets quietly removed, you know there's more to the story. So next time you think you're making the healthier choice with grilled chicken at McDonald's, remember, it's not the clean, lean option you imagine. It's a processed patty built for shelf life, not health. Breakfast at McDonald's might seem safe. After all, how bad can eggs, cheese, and a sausage patty really be? But insiders reveal the sausage is one of the most suspicious meats on the entire menu. It starts before most customers even wake up. At 4 or 5 a.m., morning shift workers cook massive trays of sausage patties in advance to keep up with the rush. On paper, company rules say patties should be tossed after 20 minutes. But in reality, food safety experts found the average McDonald's sausage patty sits in a warming tray for 97 minutes before being served. Some have reportedly sat for over 2 hours, so long they could qualify for a parking ticket. And it's not just sitting time that's concerning. A single patty contains 32 different ingredients. Among them are preservatives, like BHA and BHT, chemicals so controversial they've been banned in multiple countries. There are also 4 different forms of MSG, cleverly disguised under alternate names. used to trick your taste buds into thinking the flavor is fresher than it really is. But here's where it gets really bizarre. If a sausage patty dries out, employees don't throw it away. They give it what they call a steam bath. Picture this: patties stacked in the microwave, covered with damp paper towels and zapped back to life. Your fresh breakfast sausage might have just been rehydrated, like a sponge. And nutritionally, one sausage patty packs a third of your daily fat intake and nearly half your sodium limit. Add eggs, cheese, and a biscuit, and you've already blown through most of your day's recommended salt before 9 a.m.
And it's not just your health at risk, the way they're cooked creates another problem. The sausage is grilled on the same surface batch after batch with minimal cleaning. Workers admit they just scrape the grease down with a spatula, which means your patty is sizzling in the leftovers of dozens before it.
So the next time you think you're starting your morning right with a sausage biscuit, just remember, your breakfast might be older, greasier, and more chemical-laden than you think. By the way, if you're shocked already, you're not alone. More than half the people who watch these videos never hit subscribe, and those are the people who miss the biggest reveals. If you want more food secrets exposed and uncovered, make sure you hit that button right now, because what's coming next will make you think twice about McDonald's most iconic item. McDonald's hamburgers are the backbone of its empire. 6 million sold every single day. But here's the secret. Those burgers aren't what you think they are. Unlike quarter pounders, which often get cooked fresh to order, the standard hamburger patties are almost always pre-cooked in bulk. Huge batches are grilled in anticipation of the rush, then stacked in warming trays like fast food firewood. On average, a patty sits for 45 minutes before making it into your burger. That's 4 times longer than official guidelines. But it doesn't stop there. During busy periods, managers often order double batches. Fresh patties are laid on top of older ones, pushing the stale patties to the back of the tray. Some sit so long that employees resort to a revival technique straight out of a survival guide: burger CPR. They throw the patty in the microwave, cover it with a damp paper towel, and blast it for a few seconds to make it look moist again. In reality, you're eating meat that's been reheated more times than your leftovers at home. And while McDonald's advertises 100% beef, that doesn't mean what you think it does. Food analysts found that one single batch of patties could include meat from over 100 different cows. That's how mass production works: beef from all over, mixed and processed until it loses any trace of being fresh. It's technically beef, yes, but hardly the kind of beef you'd grill in your backyard. Temperature control adds another nightmare. Warming cabinets are supposed to stay at 140 Fahrenheit, the bare minimum for food safety. But internal audits found that 83% of McDonald's locations had cabinets dipping below that threshold during at least part of the day. That means patties were sitting in the danger zone where bacteria grows fastest. And here's something most customers never realize: the quarter pounder and the regular hamburger patty aren't the same quality. Quarter pounders use slightly better cuts and are cooked more often to order. But the thin patties in cheeseburgers, double cheeseburgers, and Happy Meals, they're the bottom tier, cheap, mass-produced and reheated endlessly to stretch supply. So the next time you unwrap a cheeseburger and bite into that thin, floppy patty, remember, you're eating a product designed for speed and cost, not quality or freshness. For many people, the McChicken feels like the safe bet. It's cheap, it's simple, and it's been on the menu for decades. But behind the crispy breading hides what former employees and food scientists say is McDonald's lowest quality chicken product. Lab tests revealed that a McChicken patty contains only 45% actual chicken meat. The rest? A slurry of fillers, soy protein, binders, and modified starch designed to bulk up the patty while keeping costs low. Think about that for a second. You're ordering chicken and getting less than half. That's like buying a bottle of orange juice and finding out it's mostly corn syrup. But here's the part most people never notice. In 2018, McDonald's quietly adjusted the bread-to-meat ratio. The bun got larger, the patty stayed the same, and suddenly the sandwich looked just as big, but with even less meat inside. Why? Because bread is cheaper than meat. By increasing the bun size across millions of sandwiches sold daily, McDonald's shaved millions off its costs without most customers realizing they were paying for more bread and less chicken. And then there's the texture. Real chicken has fibers, uneven edges, and natural variation. The McChicken patty, on the other hand, is so unnaturally uniform it almost looks machine-made. That's because it is. Chicken is pushed through high-pressure machines that shred the fibers and turn them into a paste-like consistency. The result is a patty that feels more like a kitchen sponge than a piece of meat. Blindfold a farmer and let them touch it, and they'd probably think it came from the cleaning aisle, not the barnyard.
What about the spicy McChicken? Don't be fooled.
It's not a different patty. It's the exact same chicken, just rolled in a powdered spice coating after cooking,
And here's the kicker. That seasoning often settles at the bottom of the storage bin, meaning the first sandwiches of the day might be fiery, but the later ones, practically bland. It's like going to a rock concert, only to find the band lip-syncing halfway through the set. Now let's talk about freshness, or the lack of it. Company policy says McChicken patties shouldn't sit for more than 30 minutes in the warming tray. But according to employees, they often sit for up to 90 minutes, sometimes longer. By then, the patty develops a rubbery texture. The solution? Drown it in mayonnaise. Some sandwiches get double or even triple the amount just to mask the fact that the meat has gone stale. And it gets worse. Patties that fail quality checks aren't always thrown away. Many are chopped up and repurposed into breakfast burritos. In other words, if your morning burrito tastes oddly spongy, there's a chance you're eating yesterday's rejected chicken sandwich in disguise. Perhaps the most damning evidence comes from McDonald's own employees. In a 2021 survey of over 2,000 fast food workers, the McChicken was ranked as the menu item they would least likely eat themselves. Not because it tastes bad, it's because they know what goes into it. They've seen the processing, holding times, the cover-ups, and the shortcuts. When the people making your food avoid it like the plague, that should set off alarm bells. And here's the chilling thought: the McChicken is one of McDonald's cheapest items. It's designed to lure in budget-conscious customers and keep them coming back. But the low price comes at a cost, quality sacrificed for profit, at the expense of the very people eating it. So next time you think you're saving a couple bucks by grabbing a McChicken, ask yourself, is it really worth it when the employees won't even touch it? So let's recap. The McRib is a marketing trick held together with chemicals. McNuggets are more mystery meat than chicken. The Filet-O-Fish might have been sitting longer than you'd believe. Grilled chicken is a fake health food, loaded with sodium and chemicals. Sausage patties sit around so long they need to be revived in the microwave. Regular beef patties are reheated and sometimes stored at unsafe temperatures. And the McChicken? It's barely chicken at all. When you put it all together, it paints a picture of fast food that's less about taste and more about cost-cutting and preservation. Here's the bottom line: if even employees refuse to eat these items, maybe it's time to think twice. Because what you order at McDonald's isn't always what you're really getting. It's like line dating. The profile picture looks great, but reality, a little disappointing. So which menu item shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more hidden food secrets exposed, hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what we uncover next.